Hello, a lovely time again with the program Conversations, and I'm smiling, from chin to chin because today we intend to put food on the table of a lot of people, especially those who've been struggling to ensure that that food is on the table, and somehow, somewhere, it's not just showing, it's not just happening. What do I mean? A lot of us are doing business. A lot of us are starting business. Some of us too have actually been in that business for so long, and rather than going up, we're going down. And sometimes we think it's our village people. Is it village people? I don't think so. Sometimes we do not look inward. There could be something very small. It's not the amount of capital, but it's a financial capital, but it's the amount of know-how capital we put in that really makes it. Today we have people who are starting business, people who are already in business, but at the end of the day, all of us will be sharing our mistakes and then pointing out where we were able to circumvent it towards navigating it to success if we are there. And then we also have people who are coaching one way or the other, who will be telling us how to ensure that we minimize our errors. Because if I tell you that the errors won't be there, that will be complete lie. My name is Elizabeth. Looks like I've been talking too much. Let you do the introduction yourself.
Well, my name is Devan, and it's good to be here this morning. Startups, with all the wahala that come, I think I'm definitely somebody that has a lot to say about that because I have failed at least twice, and I've learned my lesson the very hard way. And I'm very happy to share everything I've learned.
Your fail is in capital letter, even though you speak it. I see it written in capital. We would like to know this failure in time.
Yes, I will share
as we go. And by the way, this is a member of my winning team. I had to drag her here because I also know that you're an entrepreneur. But let's share who you are.
Hello and good morning. I'm so happy to be here today. This is my first time on air, so
It's always behind the camera.
Yeah. Well, I'm looking forward to having this conversation as well as learning from you and whoever is going to join us later. So I'm excited for this.
All right, we have the CEO of Blue Camel. It's an energy company joining us much more later. He's actually on his way and he's quite apologetic. Suleiman Yusuf, he'll be joining us shortly. But then, talking about mistakes, a lot of people have made so much. And Dairo, team, Ada, Uzo, Faith, everybody, they went out to the streets to find out what mistakes people are making, and if possible, have they been able to learn from it. Let's share that with you, then we talk.
People don't really take into cognizance research. They don't do much research into that area of business that they venture into. And when you don't do research, you don't know the pros and the cons of the business that you're venturing into. And for sure, you are heading for a crash.
Lack of sincerity. You brought a fake item or a fake commodity. You pretend that it is a good one. You sell to him, and later on you discovered that it was fake. He will not trust you. He will not come to your business another time. So if such people continue to accumulate, at the end of the day, he doesn't have customers, then the business will crash down.
Well, sometimes they start a business with a little token, and in any business you cannot do without credit. Maybe by the time they give to one or two people, where you sell, you return the money. Like I have a friend that once tell me a story about herself, that he cannot do the business without giving out as a credit. And he has some certain people that he give it out to. And he later found out that most of them that he give it out, they will sell and bring the money, then he give them the goods again. But later he found out that some of them, after selling, they will go with the money, they will relocate. You will not see them again. And this business is not a large business, it's a small scale business. In that area, the business can be crumbled.
Every business requires a proper planning. So when they throw in per se is errors, it's full of error and all of those things. I think that these are one of the factors that could fall down, that could bring down a business.
Small business owners are not patient enough to allow the business mature. You know, I think that's one of the critical mistakes they do. And at the other hand, again, some of the things they also do that crumble the business is not discipline, by knowing that this is a business fund. No matter what, I can't go beyond this limit. They keep picking from the business, small, and before you know it, the capital will just go.
One of the mistakes young people do while doing business is that you need to spend within your means. You understand? You don't spend the money you don't make.
You are selling to make your profit, to make your day. Other people are doing their business to make their day and then to make their life so easy. And you are decided to sell for your friends and you lose the money. You are killing yourself or you are killing the business.
Investing so much money, I think for startups, you should just go as it comes. I think that's the first thing that you should do. And then as it grows, you can increase your capacity.
Selling things because of tomorrow, maybe you want the person to come back again, so you sell it at a low price so that the person can come back again.
It's good to get to hear a lot of people, speak on the issue of the day. Basically, it's fun to know that people make their mistakes, and at the end of the day, they learn from it. We in the house, we've all made our mistakes, and we will navigate around and get to find out how we're able to step out of it. I want to start with Devon, because even behind camera, she has always laughed at herself.
Yes, so you must develop a sense of humor about these things, because the other option is to go into depression, start crying, and all of these things, and they don't solve anything.
Go ahead. So, what are the mistakes you've made? By the way, I see Mr. Suleiman just coming in. Please walk into the studio. I see you're coming in. Different programs for you at the end of each day. Please take a room. And then you're going to have to share your experiences. You're going to sit near my lovely sister here. You're welcome.
Thank you very much.
How was the journey coming to NTA?
Yeah, it's always a pleasure.
I usually don't like to introduce people, so I want you to introduce yourself.
Thank you very much. So my name is Suleiman Yusuf. I'm the founder and chief executive officer of a renewable energy company called Blue Camel Energy, which has been in operation for the past 14 years in Nigeria.
Okay, I will speak on that because I knew when it was a baby product. Now I see how far it's gone. But I'd like to settle down while she shares some of the experiences she's made with us. So you were saying something?
Yes, so specifically, what do you want?
I want to know the mistakes you've made.
Okay, the biggest mistake I've made twice was not knowing enough about the business I had started. The first one, you want to start a side hustle because you've discovered that your take home is not taking you home, not because you're living.
Stop here at AYA instead of Maraba.
Exactly. And not because you're living an extraordinarily extravagant life, but because of the responsibilities you have to other people. Nigerians, we tend to owe a huge debt to extended family. And then apart from that, you want to do your bit for philanthropy. A close friend tells you that their child is gravely ill. After a while, you realize that no, your salary isn't going to do this. So you want to start a side hustle. And there's always that fantasy of, okay, one day I'll leave salaried employment, face my own thing and build it up. So the sooner I get it started, the better. Now, the first thing I ventured into, and that one wasn't meant to be a permanent side hustle, just something to have a little extra change at the weekends and so on. This keke napep thing, did it twice. It was a disaster. I quickly came to discover that the vehicles don't last long. I came to the second time around, within the first month, one got stolen. Yes. And all of this kind of thing. So the keke napep thing did not pay my government, let me say. Because for one thing, I decided to run it myself, manage the operations and everything myself, instead of outsourcing it. Now, what people ordinarily do is you buy the keke napep, hand it over to to the people. There's a whole cartel that handle these things, and all they do is remit something to you weekly based on agreement. That way, whatever happens to the vehicle, the driver, this, that, and the other, it's none of your business. They take all of that stress off you and just keep remitting money to you as and when due. I didn't opt for that. I decided to run it myself. The young men that were driving the things gave me the run around, made me look like a fool and everything because they knew more about the business than I did. So there was that. Then second time around, I decided, okay, let me go digital. Let me do something. And it was a bit different. It was, I'd call it a photo contest. And it started out very promising. But then, this was a photo contest that was meant for young girls. You know, you put up your fine pictures in Western attire, traditional, something casual.
Yeah, I remember. I was actually thinking about joining. You said I was too young.
No. It was open to women of all ages. It was open to women of all ages, but after a while we noticed that we were attracting mostly undergraduates and young women up to the age of 30, you know. But that was not the original plan. Mocha Beauty.
Mocha Beauty,
exactly.
Yes, I remember.
Well, we now found that Nigerians can be extremely ingenious in all the wrong ways. I'm sorry, but this was the experience I had. Within a very short while, we came to the realization that in many instances, young men were maybe borrowing their sisters' pictures and, you know, putting these up. And there would be
contests for women.
Yes.
Men were not competing.
It's girls' pictures we were getting. With their
meanwhile, behind the camera is a man.
But behind, usually it was an IT person behind the scenes trying to crash the site and do all kinds of things behind the scenes. I developed a terrible reputation. I got people calling me up to call me names, insult me, and tell me how I have the whole thing rigged. And I patiently asked this person, why would I rig a contest to give a girl 200,000 naira when I can just call her up on the phone? If I have too much money, just call her up on the phone and send the money to her. Why would I go through? And first of all, the contest was free. So why am I doing a free contest to rig it in favor of somebody that I've already planned to give money to? Why don't I just call the girl up and give her the money? So after a while, I said, okay, there's so much suspicion around why it is free. I was receiving insults for it being free. People would call me up and insult me. What do you want to do with people's emails? What do you want to do with these young girls' pictures? There's probably something that I said, okay, fine. It's not like I don't like money. By the third round, we decided to monetize it. Some good money came in. But when we introduced the monetary elements into it, that was when things really went gaga. I mean, it was hellish. And Nigerians oh Lord, the dishonesty was, we spent more time trying to backstop fraud than actually focusing on the contest itself. It was hellish, that too. So that's the bottom line. What I learned is this: don't go into a sector you are not very, very conversant with. Don't start anything you are not highly skilled at. And I lost good money both times. So this time around, I'm doing something in my field. I'm achieving much better results. The day any of my staff don't show up, hey, what is it? Is it camera? I'm proficient at camera. Is it editing? Oh Lord, give me 2 hours and I'll be done with that editing. So I'm not experiencing any embarrassment anywhere. I'm giving clients their jobs and everything is okay.
Okay, it tells me a whole lot about the role of apprenticeship in everything we do. Back in the day, the Igbo boy will go to serve his master for 7 years and is freed. And the freedom comes with maturity on his part. It comes with a lot of knowledge, of what to sell, what to do, and what not to do. But very importantly, it comes also with a vested knowledge of politics of the business you're doing. All right, thank you. I want to go to Funke and a young starter and a very aggressive one. What happened to our keke business, the delivery stuff?
I'd rather not talk about that. But, I'm still trying to.
It's hot, right?
Yes. I don't want to talk about that. But for mistakes that I've made in businesses, because I mean, I've started a lot of business and it's crazy. So the one I want to talk about in particular is having to please people when you are running a business, because you have friends, you have family members that you want to, um, you don't want to offend them. You don't want them to feel bad or feel some kind of way when you're doing business with them. So you try to compromise, you reduce your prices so they patronize you. I just feel like you don't need to please anybody when you're doing business. As long as you know you're offering the right service and product at the right price, you don't need family members. Don't patronize them or think that if they don't patronize your business is not going to go well. There are lots of people out there that patronize people that are not even their family members. Businesses move on and move smoothly without all of that. So just focus on rendering the right service or business at a good price, and just do that. You don't need to make people feel
So I
kind of
know
way.
that your laundry business is thriving because I
Yes.
see a lot of people who are actually patronizing it. What are you doing differently?
Hmm. Okay, so for now, I think I'm paying more attention to supervision. I don't do the laundry myself. I just collect the clothes from the customers and then give it to the laundry guys that do it. But I realize that most times I don't supervise what they do. I assume that they should know what to do because that's their field. And then it has gotten me into a lot of trouble. They mess up some clothes, they just package it nicely and just
Wow.
give it to me. And after a while, I realized I could actually just, even if I don't do the job myself, I can supervise everything that they do, go through all the
Stage by
process
stage.
without doing the job by myself, and I still get the good result that I want. So I, since I started supervising what they've been doing for me, the jobs that they've been giving me, it's gotten better. I get better results.
All right. Okay, I'm sure, Yusuf Suleiman, you have actually rested a bit from the hassle of getting to this place. I know that what you actually missed your way, as you come around.
That's right.
Okay. For 40 years, you've been running Blue Camel, right? And I know when I first met you, to actually get to talk to you was a tug of war because you were scratching your brain to making sure that this thing moved. But then you have always been a cool character, relaxed, even with all the stress. I want to know what made you go into this business because when you went in, it was known, but it wasn't pretty known. But you decided this is where you're going to, and you never give up. What was the challenge, or challenges, and how did you wind your fingers around it?
Well, three different things actually, came together to, to not just generate my interest in business, but also, to ensure that I get it started. Number one, like she just mentioned, we're Africans and particularly Nigerians. So we don't live by the burden of individual and the family alone. We carry the burden of friends, we carry the burden of family, extended family members, and even neighbors. So I was a civil servant, but I knew very clearly that my take home pay definitely wanted me.
How far did it take you? 20% of a journey?
I also, have a flair. I love to live good, and I just knew that this job wouldn't give me that good life. So I needed something that I would probably engage my energy. I was still very energetic then. It was quite interesting job then. It just wasn't sufficiently, engaging. It was like hours of redundancy. Typical civil service job. And before you know, you're looking, counting down and looking forward to end of the month. That just wasn't it for me. But that aside, passion is one thing that is very key in everything we do.
Passion.
In any business you do that you're passionate about, you will never fail in that business. Because even when you lose or you fail, you still keep doing it because you're happy doing it. It's not just about the money that was going to come. So I've always been technically inclined. I did physics, and I passed physics very well. But I didn't have the opportunity of studying engineering in university just because I knew that I had to wait one more year, and engineering was a 5-year course. So I looked at it 6 years from now before I start doing things, and then I could just take any course and do my 4 years. So I took what I could lay my hands on and did 4 years in university, but that was in engineering. But I've always had that engineering flair. So at a point in time, so of course everybody knows the energy challenge in Nigeria. we've seen the good and bad side of it. As a kid in Lagos, where I was born, if the electricity is going to go off for an hour, they're going to announce it and let everybody know that
Oh, that
we're
was
going to have
there.
a 1 hour. Yes,
That was
but we've
there.
seen that part of it. So now with what we're seeing, we know that there is a problem, and behind every problem there are opportunities. So I did my first inverter from a client, whom I paid for three different inverters, mine, my mom's one, and my brother's one. I had a child, I think my child was a year plus then, so we needed light in the house, electricity all the time. I was dealing with managing three different generators. One is for when I have a guest and I need to turn on the AC. Another one is for running steadily, especially when we need to make sure that the things in the refrigerator doesn't get spoiled. And the third one is the one that I put half a gallon, of fuel in it and then just go to sleep. If they bring light or they don't bring light, that's it. So we're living in that kind of very difficult environment. So I discovered that there were solutions of power backup, and I patronized, somebody who was doing the business. But because I am technically inclined, when they came to install, I observed every step of it, so I knew that it wasn't any, thing difficult to.
You stole their idea.
Yes, of course, but not.
We tried.
But not in a bad way. Not in a bad way.
But let me also tell you the interesting part.
Okay.
I discovered a lot of things I did wrongly.
Okay.
For example, if you're installing an inverter in the house, provide a fresh cable for your inverter. Don't destroy the earth cable and make it your inverter because you can't save money. That earthing cable is to prevent electric shock and equipment damage.
Oh yeah.
But I saw that they weren't doing the right thing. But that wasn't the end of it. My own system broke down less than 3 months afterwards. I had discarded my generators, dashed them out. I was already enjoying that uninterrupted power.
But how are you powering the batteries for the inverter?
Electricity comes in for a few hours, so
Charges.
you charge the battery, and then when electricity is gone, you leave on your battery.
Okay.
Right? So, when it broke down, I started going for redress. Every day I went there, they just kept posting me. But that was the opportunity because I had time to, while I'm waiting for the order, I'm interacting with his voice. This business, where do you get this? How do you do this? And I learned a lot about the business. So at the point, I had to actually use enforcement to get my system replaced. But then each time I went there, I saw how people were coming to bring money for this service that is not so cool. So I saw the opportunity there. And I started running the business from the boot of my car.
From the boot?
Yeah.
Oh, wow.
So
If I might ask you a question, you went straight into the conversation assuming that everybody knows what an inverter is. There might be people who are hearing this term for the first time.
Sure.
What is an inverter?
Well, an inverter is a device that works with a battery that helps you to store electricity from the grid or from generator or from solar. And we use it when any of these sources are no longer available. That's just simply what an inverter.
So it is like a super UPS for the household.
Exactly, for the household.
So that when NAPA do their stuff, this kicks in and you don't have to deal with the whole noise of generator, buying fuel
Even
and diesel and all of this.
It switches on its own, right?
Yes.
Okay.
Smart switching, so you don't lose time. So if you're watching a program on football or something, even your DSTV doesn't restart because switches.
DSTV is starting, it's forever. So it makes sense.
That opportunity came, and then I talked to one or two family and friends, and I was lucky I had somebody who made 5 million naira available to me.
Oh, that's good.
Yes, that was my startup capital. So I discovered that money wasn't enough to rent, a shop and then start the business. So I moved my wife's small business from her shop where she was selling cosmetics, and I asked her to take this business to the house and run it from there.
I hope you paid for the relocation allowance.
I paid compensation. I'm still paying. So that's how we started, and that's still our head office today. As small as the place is.
Oh wow!
But believe me, in the past 12 years, 14 years, that 5 million has I don't know, but I'll just simply tell you that the net worth of Blue Carbon is over 5 billion naira today.
Whoa! Wow! That's good.
Wow! 5 billion. That's good. Moving from 5 million to 5 billion.
Yeah.
So it was a combination of the need. That's number one. Knowing that the job you have cannot, meet up to your lifestyle. Secondly, the bad treatment and the opportunity that made itself available. I discovered that I could run this business better. If I add a bit of, courtesy, a bit of treating people right and doing things, properly as well. And we excelled with just one thing, customer service in the past.
I was coming to that. I actually have had my experience with your office, and even though I didn't get to finish up the business, I felt like actually borrowing one or two of your staff that dealt with me to every place I worked with, because they had this way of talking to you that I like. Contrary to a lot of other things that happen in business. In fact, yesterday I was at the airport and I was raking, at the airline. I said, I need this girl sacked. I need this girl sacked. Just for a simple thing she did. We all queued up to get something done. And she was absent for over 25 minutes. She didn't tell her people where she was going to. People were looking for her. Then from nowhere, she just came out on a phone, number one. I was walking. I didn't know she was the person, but I saw I don't want to call the airline because it's not their fault. I saw the dress, the uniform, yes. So I knew it was her. Then her colleagues, every eye went to her side. So I knew she was the one. She walked in and just sat down, dropped that phone. I said, excuse me. She said, Shabby, you want to pay for excess luggage, blah, blah. I said, is that all I'm getting from you? She said, what do you want now? Is it not what you pay? I said, I need an apology. She said, for what? I said, I've been standing here with all these people all queued up for over 25 minutes. Madam, it's no longer I left here. I said, are you mad? The other persons now shouted at her from, I think, the United Nigeria Airline besides them. Oh, they shouted at her. So she now said, are we all not human beings? Can't you move out for a while? You didn't tell your colleagues. And we're not even bothered about that. You came back, there was no sorrow for keeping you. I was mad. I was shouting. I said, please, I want this girl sacked. And I hope they will remember this story because it just happened yesterday. And they will know that the person I'm talking about yesterday evening, look out for that person. She needs to be reorientated. A lot of times, it's what we call in Nigeria Ember Month. And small businesses um, hoping to make more money. Some will tell you they are doing promo. Now, if you're smart and you check the cost of the product in October, September, August, thereabouts, it's probably going for about 1,000 naira. By the time they tell you they are doing 50% sales, go and check what they are saying. It's now 1,002. And you're wondering, where is the 50% sales? But because they've put sales on it, so you will think it's a reduced cost.
Yeah.
So the one I attacked last week now told me, that time you checked it, dollar was so and so amount. Now dollar has gone up.
But it's a good argument.
Remove these sales now.
No, but it's a good argument considering how astronomically the dollar is going up now. But that is not.
It has always been like this.
That is not in prejudice of the fact that there's a whole lot of scamming that goes on in the name of sales. But I do have a question to ask you. We're focused on things that go wrong when you want to start your business.
Yeah.
We've had unpleasant experiences. Did you have any unpleasant experience starting this? What challenges did you face?
Quite a lot of different challenges in different cases. But the beauty is when you're the founder of the business, the idea is you sort out all the challenges even before you start thinking about what you want to make out of the business. Our biggest challenge in Nigeria remains human capital.
Yes.
Human capital. That's the reason why up till now, if you're building a house, if you're constructing, despite the level of unemployment in Nigeria, you still engage the Ghanaians to release, do jobs that needs finance, that needs attention. Tiling, POP. It's not like we don't have Nigerians that can do it. But the Nigerians that we have that can do it do not have the discipline. And what is this discipline? A typical Nigerian artisan, when you pay him money for material, you probably look for him 2-3 days, his phone is shut down. Until that money is finished, if you're lucky, he picks up and comes back to see what he can do. And there are sets of stories. Same story, I lost my mother, I went for this, or my grandfather. One thing will always come up after he has collected the money. So that discipline is not there on one side. If you bring the Togolese, for example, to your site to work, they move into sites, they stay on site. Everything they do is focused on getting that job done and getting referrals from a good job. our own case is not the same. The very few Nigerians who get very good, training from Julius Berger and so on, get ceramic and whatever, engage them and see what their delivery is. So that small discipline of being in the primary school or secondary school class, of knowing that you have to be in school at social time, of knowing that if you don't do this right, this is the consequences, of learning courtesy and all that, is what is lacking in our absence. And that's why one of the things I did after, we got to a comfortable ground was to set up a training academy. So we have a renewable energy training academy right now where I've trained over 360 young Nigerians on renewable energy technology, mostly on scholarships. Because
Great.
I discovered that unemployment is high not because people don't want to work, but people don't have the opportunity to learn the skills and discipline that is required for them to be employable.
Now,
And yeah.
okay, I wanted to know when we run our businesses, you mentioned it a little bit earlier. We always need money for one thing or the other. What is that particular way or thing you put in checks to ensure that you don't overuse? As a CEO, you get paid and you manage whatever your payment is. How do you put that discipline? Because
Very good.
it's a big difficulty for all of us.
Most times when we own business, we think that our business account and our personal account is the same. These are two different things. A business is a business. When it's time for you to reward yourself, you need first of all ascertain what have you earned as a business and who are the parties involved in earning this thing and what is the best proportion of sharing this to ensure that everybody continues to put in their best. I'll come to something called the 13 P's, of entrepreneurship. Percentage, yes, 13 P's. So percentage is very, very key. That is the proportion of your business proceeds that you share amongst every party, including your driver. If your driver is not satisfied with what he's getting, he's probably going to look for another job, and that's going to slow your business down. So everybody who puts in something needs to get a fair share that gets his interest on the job. So that problem is always there. The problem of managing resources, and a lot of times we've already been trying with this get rich quick syndrome. It's young Nigerians because we've seen a number of people get rich quick. We've seen people from villages who just find themselves in the city, in the National Assembly, and before you know, they're multi-millionaires. So that idea that we can get rich quick is already there. We've seen people who just come into Abuja before you know, in 2-3 years, they're contractors, they're handling massive projects. It's not consistent. It's not going to continue. So we must hit that sense that we must work hard. We must plan. I was talking to some young Nigerians at the Nigeria Trade Forum the last time, and I asked the question: how many of you young Nigerians, have thought of owning a tractor as your first vehicle? And
we only a Ferrari first.
everybody knows all the different cars and their prices. Nobody bothers or nobody knows the price of a tractor. If you own a tractor as a young Nigerian graduate today, irrespective of where you choose to start your business, you are a guaranteed multi-millionaire in the next 10 years.
If I may quickly come in, some things that I've remembered before I forget. You see, for those of us who started out life by earning a salary, I think we are the demography that is most likely to make the worst set of mistakes when we try to enter the business sector and entrepreneurship. Now, let me quickly give these few pieces of advice amongst the lessons that I've learned. Don't start your business with a business name. Go to CSC, go and register one company. That should come when the business has already started establishing itself, something has started coming in. Because when you first start business, you make a lot of losses because you are learning as you go, no matter how much you know. Every day something comes up that you never envisaged. Sometimes it could even be government policy that has changed and it's affecting and so on and so forth that you never anticipated. Now, when you start your business by registering a business name first, regardless of whether you are making money or not, you are going to pay IRS their tax. So they don't care if you just registered the name and you kept it pending the day you are going to start the business. It has been dormant for the past 15 years. They are not interested you are going to pay tax for all those 15 years that you say you are not doing anything. They are not interested in it. So don't start your business by you don't run, go and start, go CAC business. Start the business first. If it is doing well, go and register it. That is number one. Number two, don't start your business by renting space except it is
He
critical.
rented the boot of his car.
Except it is critical for you to have space. It's not the kind of business you can run from home. Because rent, when you start business, you want to cut down on overheads as much as possible. Overheads are anything, the expenses. Cut down your expenses to the barest minimum. Anything that you can get people to help contribute, like their time, skill, knowledge. If your husband is knowledgeable in accounting something, let him help you with the bookkeeping. If your daughter is very good at typing something, let her help you to type letters and so on and so forth. Keep the staff you are going to hire to the barest minimum when you are starting. If you thought, when after you've done your feasibility study, and that's another thing, many of us don't do feasibility before starting business. But let's assume you do your feasibility study and you discover that you're going to need 1.5 million to start this business. It is in your best interest to keep 5 million aside. Because by the time everything is taken care of, incidentals that you've never thought about begin to come up. So at all times, prepare yourself with at least 3 times the amount you thought you needed. That's point number 3. Point number 4, don't start your business by hiring relatives.
Doesn't work.
Asking them to help you with one or two things is different. Bringing them on board as employees is something completely different. The chances of you waking up to tell your husband, sweetheart, I'm sorry, well, I have to sack you. I don't even know how that conversation is going to start.
Sack your husband.
You understand?
From the
sack.
From the office of
or your mom that is your manager, your momager, so to speak. Mommy, the thing is these your ideas, they are not, I was thinking of bringing a fresh. The woman will feel insulted. And then you're going to generate one friction like that should not exist. If a stranger steals money from your business, you can bring police in. If your son steals money from your business, can you bring police? You can't. However, I'm not saying that there are businesses that are family businesses. One of my landlords, him, his wife, all his children, they're into the events management thing. I don't know how they've been doing it for 20 something years. They're fantastic. There's this sense of discipline. I don't know how they're managing it. They hardly ever have any issues. It's a family business. But when it's a regular business where you've employed strangers as well, one stranger is the director of finance, another stranger is director admin, then your wife is director media. Issue go there. So you need to be careful about those things. So these are some things that came into my mind that I said, let me quickly share before I forget.
Okay. I quickly want to add this. This is an aspect that we can talk about. Online vendors, people that sell online. A lot of people sell online nowadays. And there's this thing I have a problem with: deceit. What I ordered versus what I got.
Yeah.
Most times we order stuff online because you can't go into the market by yourself to check and find out this product for yourself. And then you contact somebody online, you want to buy this product. You send me a picture or a video of the product, and then I order it. You deliver it to me, it's something totally different. For me, I have cancelled out buying stuff online. As much as I want to patronize your small business as a friend or a random person online, I have cancelled that out because I always get disappointed. I always get the bad or the wrong product. And I think it's something we should really, I don't know how we're going to control that right now, especially with everybody using the internet and social media to sell products. But I think it's an aspect that a lot of people should really, that we should talk about. And then the idea of you are selling stuff online and then you don't put the prices. I think it's deceitful because you come to me and tell me it's 500. You go into some other person's DM and tell the person it's 1,000. You just give everybody random
Different
prices.
price, yes.
I don't think it's cool at all. Just put your prices there.
Pricing is another very big challenge when it comes to, for young businesses.
Yeah.
For instance, now I just did a job for my husband's firm. He has been asking me for days to send in my invoice. I don't know if I should be nice. I don't know if I should give the regular price.
Can I give the invoice for you?
So that's going on. Coming to what you said at first about trying to be nice for family members, I'm really struggling with that right now.
One of the major problems is startups. We tend to quickly upgrade our lifestyle when our business is not stable.
Oh wow! We need to change status now.
That's sad.
So you can change status immediately, and
then
you
the
drive at a
business
certain
suffers.
speed. But you can choose to be calm. You know where you're going. You have a business plan, and you have already programmed how many years it will take you to get there. You can choose to invest that money, and that investment is going to multiply. I'll give you an example. If you invest a 1 million naira today, and you're supposed to make 100% turnover in a year, by next year you're going to be investing 200 million, and the year after it's going to be 400. But if you spend, that out of that 100 million, you should spend 80 million on lifestyle. It means that the year after a business will be 400,000 because
new wife.
Because the year after you have only 20% to invest. So that's how it goes. So you need to wait until you draw the curve until you get to that comfortable point where you can now choose to start living your lifestyle. Business is not affected. That's when you settle down to enjoy your life. So that's one thing that most of our startups the next thing changes, the environment is living, the car is driving. Just lay low and make sure the business is solid before you change the lifestyle. I see that as a problem with most
It's actually a big problem. Everybody is in a hurry. And again, it comes from what you mentioned a little bit earlier, passion. If you're starting a business because you have a passion for it, not because you want to change your lifestyle, that one will come. You always want to conquer more ground rather than exhibit what you have acquired. People are talking with us. Let's see if we can quickly share some of the views. I am Thomas in Thomas Inigulu from Delta State. I really think and suggest before investing or involving yourself into any business, one has to specifically study the business, just as you said. Take ideas from people who have actually gone far and are successful in that business. True. And remember that my colleague here just said the same thing. Remember, as a reliable monotheist, that a business name must be related to peace and harmony, okay? And that you have no good recognition calling your name or business name something horrible for the kind of people, okay? That's when Yusuf Gaffa is telling you that you should be mindful about the name you choose. Because for those who may not understand, they may begin to think ordinary. And from something CAU, there is a saying that once cheated, twice shy. How can Nigerians have confidence when they always debunk truths on grounds like this one that dealt with life and death? Okay, so your message is not very clear, and I think you should reduce the abbreviation as you write so that it's easy for me to interpret. Somebody says here, I'm inspired by this program. God bless you. My name is Prince Chigozie Mande from Lafia. Thank you very much, Prince Chigozie. Every business should have a foundation. Let our business be built on Christ. For the beginner, avoid the three vices: alcohol, tobacco, and womanizing. That's for me, right? Then be praying to God always. Okay. Somebody is responding. He said that's a reverend sending this this product. What makes business goes up with all the hardship about on and off? Okay, hi. Why would business go up with all the hardship off and on? Let you answer that, but let me just take one more message here. Good morning. Oh, my name is Susan. I'm in loving conversation as always. He's thanking me. And he says diary is killing me. Okay, this is personal. Say happy birthday. Alright, so I want us to answer that man's question. He said, why do business keep going back and forth? They were successful at a point, yes, and then at a point they are no longer successful.
You see, from my own personal experience, policy issues in Nigeria is key.
Yeah, exactly.
Policy that cannot keep our exchange rate stable, it's a big problem. The policy that is not clearly spelled out on how to support startups and entrepreneurship is a problem. The policy on importation of goods and the processes that you have to go through is a problem. Policy of taxation, unnecessary taxation, and even double taxation of small businesses is a problem. All these problems, I believe, are policy issues that need to be addressed. Even policy on importation. You're trying to promote local companies, and yet you leave your borders open, called globalization, and you allow products from other countries where they get, money at 0%, 2% interest rate. You're allowing them to bring in their products, come and sell and compete in the same market with you. I have a production line where I produce street lights locally. I'm into the solar street lights.
Solar street lights.
We produce those street lights not because it is cheaper to produce. It's cheaper for me to import ready-made production. But I'm producing because I want to engage more people. I want to create, a sense of, belonging amongst teeming youth who doesn't have things to do. Now, the Chinese company gets its money, say 2% or 5% interest rate. We're dealing with 20-25% interest rate in Nigeria. So already we are not competitive. Secondly, you have a brand name, a company, that is structured. So FRS is always there on your neck. 7.5% VAT and so many other taxes. You can't escape it. The Chinese company comes in, registers the company in Nigeria as a startup, which means for the first 3 years they may not be entitled to pay taxes. Uses that company to do his business. He's able to sell 7.5% cheaper than I because he's not eligible or he doesn't pay taxes. So he has that second advantage. And thirdly, because he does in volume and we don't have access to capital finance to do that kind of volume, he's able to navigate his way around customs and clear his product even at a cheaper rate. He also doesn't go through the proper clearing procedure because I'm a registered company that can't hide. He probably comes in and gives some things, try his way around, and he clears his product cheaper. So when policies don't guide or protect their own internal, startups and companies, then it's a big crisis, you know. But in any case, one thing I've discovered, you see, we're in an environment, and we have to be very straight about this, where a lot of people have money that they have not worked for in their pockets. That's true. A lot of people have money that they have not really worked for. They've gotten the money, they've not earned it. And the spending, style and pattern of that kind of society is always different from societies where people have to earn every bit of their money. Go to the UK and see how people live their lives. It's very, very disciplined with everything they spend. Here, people who earn this money, most of them don't even pay taxes because the money is incoming in channels where, it can be taxed. So what do people in that kind of environment do? They spend on their lifestyle. So as a businessman, I've studied it and I just decided that, okay, the best thing for me to do is to track these people irrespective of how they make their money. Let me just collect my own small one from them. So I look around the services, the things that they need and they're willing to pay for. So I set up my small toll gate. If you come to pass, just drop something and go. I'm happy. I'll make you happy. I'll give you the service you need. I don't want to know how you make the money. So in that case, no matter how the economy navigates, good or bad, people are still spending. Yes. Collect what you can collect.
The more you can. All right. So let's see, more are coming in. I'm Dr. Salihu Ibrahim from Mina. By God's grace, you people are doing a wonderful job. Thank you. It's quite educative. Wish you well. And every business should have a good plan. My name is Amina. I'm writing from Ogun State. Actually, Sango. Thank you very much, Amina. And Fortune has something. Fortune says, Fortune John from Abuja. Thanks for the inspiration of this program. I love the conversation. Thank you too. We believe that you'll be able to do better. Good morning, please. I don't support the idea of starting the business before registering it with CSC. What if along the line what if along the line someone goes and register the same business name for you? Okay.
Business name is inconsequential if you ask me, because you can always find a way around
You
that.
can always change the name.
You can change the name and so on and so forth. I'm not arguing with this. I'm just saying that in my experience, I've seen so many instances where people register a business name with the hope of starting a business one day. They don't even know what that business is going to be. You're just incurring unnecessary expenses.
All right, I think it's always there is always a bargaining power, but there should be a criterion price for every product. Yahoo boys go to buy drinks in the shop and don't pay.
But I go to buy jeans in same shop and I pay the seller. It's like something just about 10 pieces. All right, so few things you can always alter your. And somebody says, yeah, Bell Van, you are welcome back. Okay. I don't know where you traveled to, but you have to let us know. Anthony, I think this will be the last one. I'm very happy with this program. I am also a businessman. Thank you very much, Mr. Anthony. And we want to believe that we'll be able to respond to the rest of the people outside. They keep coming in tourists. We all need money. And to make money, we need to invest in money. That's what they say businesses. Business is using money to chase money. But in chasing this money, you also need to invest good character, good service. Good character is what I call customer service. Please don't shout at me because you think your goose is the best. Somebody on her status recently wrote, it's end the month and I need you guys to patronize me, but please don't ask me for price reduction because what I'm giving you is the best. I'm not reducing the price because my goods and services are the best. And I called her up. I said, this is wrong. There's always a thank you period for your customers. You may not do this, but I found out in Nigeria for the seasonal period when there is festivity, instead of people you're purchasing from giving them money to make money to say thank you, they're actually asking you anything for the boys when you don't pay finish. My director says my time is up. I wish you had more time to speak. And I must say thank you to everyone. Devon, as usual, you brought it. And madam, this is your laundry business. You teach me. And look, Camel. All right. You stole the idea from somebody. I'm going to get closer so I can steal the idea from you. All right. We'll see you again. Please, but whatever you do, passion, dedication, and honesty, it's important for you to forge along. It's always difficult to move around with the hard times, but always remember a cheerful owner of business brings in a cheerful buyer. I'll see you again next week.